copy. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our 8th Connecticut State Grange Lectures Roundup. We have lots to talk about tonight and lots of excitement. One of the many things is we've had our Connecticut State Grange Convention. We just got back, some of us today, from the National Grange Convention. So this is kind of our agenda that I wanted to talk about. And I think tonight, everybody, here comes Judy on. Oh, Judy's driving. I think everybody knows everybody. So does everybody know everybody on here? Or should we do introductions?
We can't tell because we only see your puss.
You got to check the box it looks like Hollywood Squares.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but you have your presentation up.
Yeah, but there's a thing that you can, like on mine, I can either see just my face, I can see two faces, or I can see everybody's face. I have a choice.
It's blank. It's blanked out because you have your presentation up.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm able to see everybody.
The share screen.
Right. Okay, so let's see. So Nancy, we have Nancy from Melbourne, Connecticut by way of Florida.
I originally from Hemlock Grange in Portland, Connecticut. I'm lecturer there.
Yay.
And I do all my programs on Zoom.
Excellent. Bob, we have you from
Nutmeg, Pomona.
And
lecturer.
Yep, and
co-director for the Connecticut State Grange Public Relations.
Perfect. Joanne?
Beacon Valley Grange. I'm a member for 73 years.
Not possible. It's so good to see you.
It's possible.
Okay, let's see. Debbie?
Hi, I'm from Mountain Laurel, Pomona, where I'm lecturer, as well as Winchester Center.
Excellent. And I think 3 or 4 more people, but you're wrapped around. I can't see who it is. So is it Carol? I think it's you and somebody.
Judy's, yeah, me and Judy. Yeah, I'm at Granby Grange. I'm treasurer, and I'm also now Riverton, and it's affiliate. Affiliate, where I'm a gatekeeper, and I just came back for the national convention, and it was wonderful.
Okay, who else we have?
Judy.
Judy's muted. Is Karen out there?
Yep, I'm here.
There's Karen.
Greenfield Hill Grange. I'm chaplain there, and also enjoy Nutmeg, Pomona.
Excellent. And Cheryl, I think you're out there. I saw before.
Yep, Vernon Grange lecturer and Eastern Connecticut.
Excellent.
Judy Doyle, Riverton and Granby lecturer, family coordinator, and Pomona secretary. And I also just came back from Niagara and got my 6th and 7th there. It's a great time.
Yay! And Ramona from Winchester. So good to see you. So what we were gonna do, I think did I get everybody or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. I was gonna give you just a quick update on our deaf awareness project and hopefully some next steps. Another update on our State Grange plot project. I want to just quickly review the winners of our lecturers contest. There's a new national initiative, and you all listen to this. There's money for your local Grange and for the state Grange. So when we get to agenda item number 6, listen. There's a new birthday club initiative that is being launched that I want to talk about, and maybe some of you all want to participate in that. We're going to do feedback from those of us that were at the national convention and all the excitement and changes going on. I'm going to just touch on the 2024 state lecture contest, and you'll understand why after we do agenda item number 8, which is feedback from National Grange Convention. And then I was going to let, if any of you had anything you wanted to talk about, to go ahead. So we've done the introductions. So for our deaf awareness grant. We received $1,000 from the National Grange Foundation. Every year, any state Grange can apply for this. National Grange will select up to 2 Granges. So if you've got a great idea you would like to do, let me know and we can work through our state president and see if we can do something. This year, we partnered with the American School for the Deaf in West Hartford. That's the oldest school for deaf children in the United States. It was founded in 1817. We reestablished a long-term collaboration that Connecticut State Grange had with them. The Rhode Island State Grange lecturer and her family participated in this on the first day. And we also had 6 either subordinates or Pomona Granges participate. So we thought it was a great initiative. So on Monday, October 30th, we had trunk or treat. We had to guarantee a minimum of 15 Grange cars, and American School for the Deaf guaranteed 30. So we had about 45 vehicles. Right before the event started, it started raining. So people like Debbie and Carol and Judy that were there know the fun we had. So 2 of our people, because of the rain, didn't show up. So, but fortunately, at the last minute, Rhode Island State Grange lecturer and her family showed up. So that made our 15 cars. So very nice initiative. And afterwards, the American School for the Deaf presented a mug to each vehicle participant. And then on Tuesday, and not to shout out any one person, but I have to shout out Judy Doyle. I have never seen, Carol, you're a close second, but a creative person like Judy who created this maze for the children. So on the left here, you just see some of the Grangers that participated. So Judy's on the far right, the Where's Waldo. I'm standing with the pig on my shoulder that Judy created. We had a woman from Simsbury Grange. We have people from Riverton, Granby Grange, and the woman, the witch in the black hat on the far left, standing behind. That's Carol Innes, the clown, on
Annabelle.
Annabelle the clown. But the woman behind her, she's a new member we recruited who joined us because of deaf awareness, which we thought was really nice. And so she's really into this topic, and she would like to see us do more around deaf awareness. Carol, Judy, and I are already talking about putting together a sinus song so that we can participate at state and nationals next year, maybe. And but it was just a fun event. The picture on the right here is of our Grange table and just some of the kids that came through the maze in the library. And as you see, Annabelle the clown did a great job. We passed out, and now that Terry Fazio is on the phone, we passed out some really cool stuff. I took an example of each thing, Terry, down to Carol Smith and at Potomac, and she was just amazed with what we did with our grant. So that was all very positive, and I think the kids loved it. They've already asked if we will come back again next year, because what they do is a costume parade through the school, and then they come through the library. And what we did was Judy actually took 5 children's Halloween classics, and she created sets for each one of them. Some of the sets had live people like witches that you see, the Simsbury and the Riverton Grange people. Judy was all over the place, popping up Where's Waldo. So very, very positive event. So we now have to do a report for Potomac Grange on January 10th, and that will close out our grant for this year. And I just want to thank everybody that participated, including people that actually gave us funds for this, whether in person, they mailed it in, or at state session. So thank you. Are there any questions about this year's Deaf Awareness Project? Just a great initiative. And it's funded by the interest off a fund at the National Grange Foundation.
Are you allowed to apply every year?
Say again, Terry?
Are you allowed to apply every year?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was actually talking to Joan about multiple ideas for this school. One is to actually bring in a series of programs for the kids, featuring Grange topics. Like we might take, say, Carol Innes, and she would talk about beekeeping with the students. We might take somebody in that might talk about box gardening. You know, just pick some topics, because the school is very interested in agriculture, and eventually they actually want to have a facility there on agriculture that I think would be a great partnership with the Grange. But I don't know, but
I think you can, Terry, because somebody was talking to me about it while they were there, and she was saying, well, if nobody had gotten it, we would have gotten it. So, or if nobody had applied for it. So I think you can do it every year.
But we have promised we will go through Rob Buck and follow all the procedures. Since this is being recorded, I will say that loudly. And because Judy and I actually saw this after the deadline, the night that it closed. And so around midnight that night, we submitted our grant, and then I got COVID and completely forgot about it until we got the email that we had been selected. And then I started backpedaling. So anyways, but great initiative. So glad we did it. And I think it's just wonderful to have Grangers involved with things like this. Okay. All right, let's see. Next is the State Grange plot. And as you remember, we found the plot because of a great document that one of our members had found, and it identified it as the King Farm. So that was found. This is the plot, and this is the plaque. There's no dedication on the bottom of it. Rob Buck approved the plaque design last week while we were in Niagara Falls, and Jody is going to be ordering the plaque. And then this is the actual boulder. And as you can see, the state has cleared around the boulder. And now these are town people here. They're actually going to pick the boulder up. They're going to face it, the flat side, towards the street. So when you drive by, you're going to see the plaque. They're going to attach the plaque to the boulder and caulk around it. And then we're going to plan a dedication ceremony for the plaque. But Judy, when we were out there, I think this boulder is perfect. We talked to a gravestone person in Winston, Connecticut, and she wouldn't touch this project for under $3,500. So I think our $2,000, which we have raised for the plaque, thank you, everybody. I think we're getting a good deal, and I'm just so pleased the town is willing to help us on this, and that they've got the equipment. The state is still talking. If you can see behind the boulder here on the left picture, they're talking about clearing some of this area and actually making it available to the public again, because there's nothing over on this side of People's Forest. Everything's over on the western side. So again, I think it's exciting that after, almost 100 years, the plot is going to be dedicated. It'll have a permanent marker on it. We've raised all the funds for it. So kudos, Connecticut State Grange members, for that. And I personally think this would make a great program for your Granges if you wanted one. So Judy, can you mute Judy?
Yeah, I'm unmuted. I just was gonna say something.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I was thinking that maybe, if they do clear it, maybe we can ask the Granges in Connecticut to start collecting bottles. And then we can send them in and get a couple benches for the area for people to come and sit down.
Yep, great idea. Great idea. And again, we've been working with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, DEEP. They have been wonderful. I never thought I would say this. The state of Connecticut has been wonderful to work with. And we've really been pleased. And the town of Barkhamsted has been great to work with also. You know, people have been so supportive, and our state Grange leadership has been supportive. So I'm just so excited that this is really coming to fruition. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And again, I think there'll be more information in the Granger about this, but I think it'd make a great program for a Grange if you wanted to do it at some point, or even a field trip at some point to come out and actually see the site, because it is a beautiful piece of property out in Peoples State Forest.
It would be nice to have a state Grange picnic there at some point if they can manage to get that land cleared. Because they used to have a state Grange picnic every year and they haven't done it in a few years. So that would be a neat place to have it because of the history of it.
Right. Yes. So thank you. Okay, let's keep moving on.
Actually, could I just
Carol?
say a couple of things? Yeah, a couple of things. I just wondered on that plaque, on the upper blank space, is the Grange emblem going to be there?
Yeah, do you see it says P of H Grange logo?
I can't see
Oh.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Too small.
This is not the final version. They have approved the final version. Terry, you saw it. Rob approved it. We deleted the plaque dedication at the bottom. So it'll just have the nice Grange logo at the top. And then it'll say the Grange plot. This portion of Peoples State Forest, formerly known as the King Farm, was purchased with funds donated by members of Connecticut State Grange, 1930. So, and those are the words that Rob and the executive committee approved.
What town is that plot in?
This is in Barkhamsted.
Okay, thank you.
Why
And
did they remove the wording for plaque dedicated with today's year?
Karen, again, I didn't hear it.
Why did they remove the last line saying that it was dedicated in 2023?
Because we don't think we're going to do it before the end of this calendar year. And Rob thought that isn't as important as the 1930 date. Okay.
Thank you.
if I may say something else.
Yes, Carol.
I was talking to someone from, I believe it was the Pittsburgh area, Grange, and she was saying that, I think that was the one, she said that they collect plastic bags, and there's somewhere that they send them into, and after so many bags, they actually are given like a park bench.
Yeah, that's what Judy mentioned, Carol.
I thought she was talking about collecting bottles.
No, yeah, so it's plastic. We collected at Yargoat Stadium, and you have to collect so many pounds of plastic. Yeah. So it's bottles, wrapping, any type of plastic, so possible.
I thought it was just bags. Okay, I'm sorry, but
yeah, and it's a really cool initiative. The challenge is that we're dealing with the state of Connecticut. We're lucky to have a boulder and a plaque. They really, in this part of the park, aren't sure they want anything else, because we had talked about doing some other things, and so far they're not inclined to do that. But we can keep checking. Carol, you're muted, but your mouth is going.
Oh, sorry. There's always the other kind of, instead of a park bench, a lot of the state parks have, it's like a log with two stumps underneath it, so it's more natural looking. And I know my sister actually made a trail, and she made a bench on one of the trails, and that's what it was.
Right.
So it probably would, or maybe would be more acceptable, but
Right.
we could do something like that.
So I love the concept and the idea. And again, Carol, you and Judy, I know are going to raise your hands and volunteer with me because we're on the 100th anniversary of People's State Forest in 2024. And this is one of the things I want to talk about is how to tie this plot into that celebration, because Riverton Grange played a big role in the 50th anniversary. And of course, one of our members is going to turn 100 years old the same month this park is turning 100 years old, and that's Shirley Moore. And so we want her to have a role in this event also. So Jim Warner, who is the park person I'm dealing with from the state, he said that starting in January, he'd have me come to meetings. I would probably, Terry, tap into you and Bob if I had any needs or anything, historical or public relations or anything. But he would like the Grange engaged in this 100th anniversary celebration. And supposedly we planted a tree there in 1976, but nobody knows I've asked a gazillion people and nobody knows, and we can't find signage, but at least we found the 20-acre plot.
That's the first step. Once they clear it, there might be some other things that just appear, like plaques and things that are just, buried under all that brush.
Yes.
So we don't know.
Yes. Debbie?
I was told that the tree was by the pavilion, and at one point it was cut down, and then they took the stump out, so you have no idea exactly where near that pavilion it was.
Right. And see, that's what I believe, because I thought it was Phil Prelli, but he denies it, that when they had the 1976 event with the national president and Frank Prelli, that it was at the pavilion, which is on the opposite end of the park from where the Grange plot is. But the program referenced the Grange plot. But the problem with the plot, there's no parking there. It's all along the side, and the state has cut the brush back just for brush maintenance. But unlike the pavilion, which is a great spot to have picnics and stuff, this side of the park is not developed. It's just basically open wild space. Is that a good way to describe it, Judy, since you live up there?
Is there any room for a small parking area there?
Yeah, Carol, we had talked about possibly doing some gardens there too. I mean, there's a few different possibilities, but as we get a little further into the planning stage, we could probably talk about them. Yeah.
Yes. And Debbie, since you're close by too, if you want me to keep you posted, I'll be glad to. I know how you like working on stuff. So
that would be good.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, let's keep moving. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. So that's the boulder and some of the people. All right. So we had our wonderful Connecticut State Grange Convention. These were our appreciation award winners. Thank you for those of you that thanked me for the nice bag of goodies you got. And we had 2 honor lecturer award winners this year, and their prize was a donation to the plaque. So anyways, I appreciate that. And they also got the coin, the honor coin. So we want as many Granges as you see under the appreciation award. All 3 Pomonas qualified this year, which was, since my limited knowledge, just so positive. And of course, at state convention, I gave shout outs to Bob and his documentation of what he has done at Nutmeg. It was just so impressive. So.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, Bob. Oh, shucks. So that was the awards this year. I wanted to mention this new initiative. And Terry, I just cut and pasted quickly because I didn't have time. But this is a new program that it's called Reaching Rural Surgical Seniors. National Grange got a $248,000 contract to help educate seniors in rural areas about questions they should ask before they go for surgery. Each region, so like the Northeast region, which is our region, each region has a point of contact. I am the point of contact for New York and New England, the Eastern region. So this is a contract. It's funded through the federal government to National Grange. So they competed and were selected for this. And you see that name again, Joan Smith. She's the program manager for this. But this is why I want to get your attention. There's $100 available to the first 250 community or subordinate Granges that participate. So what that means is you have to put on a program, you have to provide the videos and just let them know, and very little stuff. Rob has agreed that we're going to have Joan Smith come. She lives in Florida. She belongs to Potomac Grange in DC, but she's going to come to Connecticut and put on a program. It's going to be focused on this. It will be focused on the National Foundation, and it's going to be focused on student scholarships. But we're thinking about doing something at Hillstown Grange. And if your Grange participates, you get to say you had a public program. So you basically qualify for the $100. And you just have to be one of the first 250 Granges that submit. So does that make sense to people?
I asked Phil Venata to get me what the National is putting out for press information regarding this program. And he said once he gets over National's hump and Thanksgiving, he's going to send me stuff. So once I have that, then I will put together a packet, which will go into all the Granges about it.
Excellent. So that's local Grange, $100. Here's state Grange, $500, and you have to do minor, just basically 3 of the above things. And and they do pass out checks because this year there is another initiative, the ACP. What does that stand for, Terry? The yard signs for Affordable Connectivity Program. They passed out checks. You have to register your Grange, and you have to put down how you promote it within your local community. If you do that, you qualify, I think, for $100. So it's just another way to get funding. And they passed all those checks out at National Grange at one of the sessions this year. So, and then you see here on this slide, it says incorporate into state convention or a workshop, and Joan Smith can present. So this is what Rob and I talked with Joan about, coming to Connecticut and doing this for us. We're not sure at state convention, but just having a time, she'll fly in. We just have to put her up and feed her. And I told Rob I would be the point of contact for that. So, but I just think it's a new, neat program. There's going to be literature for it. There's a website for it. There's a video. It has my mom and me in the video. They actually flew to Connecticut and filmed us about 3 months ago. And they previewed the trailer at National Grange. So if there's questions, this is the address to write to. But again, I'm going to be your point of contact. But I always know, Granges are always trying to find ways to get money. And if our lecturers could bring in some money, I don't know why you couldn't ask your Granges to use it for your lecturers of programs and stuff. So, so I just wanted to highlight that to you. Yes, Karen.
Thank you. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I'm trying to imagine what the content of this information is beyond the typical preparation for surgery of a cardiac workup chest x-ray, blood test. Is that what you're talking about?
Nope.
And if so, where
Great.
where am I thinking differently, please?
Great question. So what this is have you thought, if you're going in for surgery, when you come home, is your home ready, if you can come back home, for you to come home? Do you have to go upstairs? Do you have a place you can sleep that you can get to? Have you cleared stuff so you're not going to trip and fall? So there's all things like that. Have you shared your wishes with people? Have you done a power of attorney? So there's all different components. This has been all cleared by, so for about 3 or 4 months, I've been one of the reviewers of the content. And Joan said at National Grange, I was like the only reviewer because I was the only one that ever responded, because they would push out content and we had to respond within 48 hours. But there's all different pieces. It's not medical per se, but it might be questions you might ask your doctor or your family or your caregiver, but it's things like, is this really going to improve my quality of life? Would you go through this if you, things like that. But one of the challenges that the federal government identified is that people that are in the rural areas, particularly that don't have access to internet and stuff, they don't always have the same knowledge that other people might have. And so they wanted to find an organization that could spread this knowledge. And that's why National Grange got it. And if we do a good job, there's a lot of other contracts I believe they're going to go after. Does that help you?
Yes, it does. And that's classic for my profession, is occupational therapy. The things that you mentioned, that's exactly what we do evaluations and interventions for. So let me know if I can offer some tips along the way. Thank you.
Excellent. But the big thing is just, you know, all they ask is that like a local Grange do something. You can do it internally, or you could have like a community event with your Grange. You could do a Zoom event, Nancy, with your Grange. You could participate if we do a state Grange event. And I'm just saying Hillstown because it's probably the closest to, you know, Bradley Airport in central for Granges around the state. But, you know, just participate and spread the word. You might take this to your community senior center, your community places of worship, your town hall, just to get the information out. Okay. And this contract has all kinds. I had never heard of PCORI. It was actually established about 20 years ago. It's a federal agency that it's Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute. And their job is to work on improving patient outcomes. And that's what they get their funding from Congress to do. And they do this through grants to outside organizations. Okay? All right. A new initiative. This is the Birthday Club initiative. And Terry put this, I think, into the announcement for tonight's meeting. I have lots of them. And basically, if you pass these out to anybody in your Grange and you fill it out, they will get an electronic greeting from the national president. We are talking here in Connecticut about looking at doing maybe some hard copy versions of this, but it's a new initiative that they have launched, and this is us getting the envelopes and the packets. And this picture is not because of me on the left, it's because of the woman on the right. This is the woman that started the Hawaii Grange, Elizabeth Heiner. And I spent quite a bit of time with her at the National Convention. And one of the projects we worked on was getting this initiative. We put together 200 of these packets to get to all the delegates and states and everything. So it's just a new initiative that National Grange to try to personalize, you know, from the national president to the local member. Questions on that? All right, let's get to some of the news from National Grange Convention. On your left is our past national president, Betsy Huber. On the right, second from the right, is our new national president, Chris Hamp from the state of Washington. And all the other people are the shipmates. And you may have heard there was a communications fellow program and a shipmates program. And these are the shipmates. I was one selected this year. So that's why we were there for 9 years. But Chris is now our new national president. And there's going to, I think, be a lot of interest ahead after 8 years under President Betsy from Pennsylvania to see how Chris does that. We have a new national lecturer. On the left is our former national lecturer, that's Ann Bircher from Minnesota. On the right side picture is Tom Gwynn, Gwin, from the state of Washington. He was a state lecturer for 16 years, and he has some very specific ideas on the lecturers' departments. So one of the reasons further on the agenda, I have not announced any of my contests specifically, is because Tom currently is going to continue all of Ann's contest in 2024. I am probably going to do that also. But Tom wants to have a train the trainer for all state lecturers. And in New England, at least 5 of the 7 lecturers have been state lecturer for less than 3 years. New York has a new lecturer, Massachusetts has a new lecturer, and I forget the other states that had changes. And so we talked about having, and prior to starting this call, when some of you got on early, we talked about having a Northeast Lecturers Conference. The Northeast Leaders Conference this year, which will be in 2024, and if you haven't heard, Terry, they're shooting for the last week in January 2024 for the Leaders Conference in New Hampshire, but they are not going to combine it with lecturers or youth. So the lecturers are going to need to do something. And New Hampshire has said they will not lead the initiative for the lecturers conference. So we've got to get the 7 state Grange lecturers together to figure out what, if anything, we want to do. And from the 3 of you that chatted with me early, I think it's time we did a lecturers conference again. And I think it's really important to not lose that. The challenge is with 5 of the 7 of us never having been to a lecturers conference from the Northeast, we've got to figure out how to do it. So I'm glad that many of you shook your heads earlier and said that you'd be glad to give input and stuff for this. I have not, Terry or Bob, volunteered Connecticut, but I'd like to think about volunteering if we could do it in Connecticut for our lecturers distance-wise and stuff, and it's fairly centralized. But again,
I don't know if you know, Dave, but Connecticut started the lecturers conference.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I think it was Bob said it used to be early summer. I thought the lecturers that were at National said it was in August. No,
it depends on what state hosted it, but they always tried to have it in either July or August. It used to be earlier July because they didn't want it to interfere with the Connecticut Agricultural Fair, so they tried to kind of spin it so it never fell the same time as that. So it was either early July or in August when they had it.
And the biggest problem with getting it all together, it usually takes about a year to get the conference together. With the hotel or
Right.
place where we're gonna, stay and work.
Right. So that's why, and I know this is being recorded, that's why I was smiling for January 2024 for the leaders conference. So anyways, I think it's important for lecturers that we do something, and I want it to be as helpful and as easy for our state subordinate and Pomona lecturers. So I'll keep you posted on that. But again, lots of change, and new leadership. But I think even though change is difficult, it's change is good. So we've got that. On the left here from National Convention is our Connecticut delegation, and not in the picture were Phil and Maureen Prelli or my mom, but love this photo and of us going over the barrel. Judy actually made it another version really better, but the photo on the right, they had a seminar. One of the things they're trying to do at National Convention is to make it more valuable to just rank and file Grange members like you and me. And so they put on a series of seminars, and 2 of the 3 Granges spotlighted were Connecticut Granges. So Judy Doyle did Granby Grange, and then Eileen McKean did Wallingford Grange. And then the third person is Jen Noss from Pennsylvania. And for those that were on our 4th lecturers roundup, she was our guest speaker. And so the 3 of them shared ideas of how they worked on revitalizing the Granges. And you heard Terry mention Phil Veneta. That's him on the left in that right side picture. So, but again, just so proud of our Connecticut Grange members participating at the conference. We were invited to showcase 2 of my local Grange initiatives, the Veteran of the Month and the Flag Retirement Initiative, and got very positive reviews from folks. Actually talked with Tom Gwynn. He is looking for a new signature project for National Grange, and had the Quilts of Valor as that project, which is a Chris Hamp project. Tom is looking for something different. Anyways, I kind of pitched the Veteran of the Month and the Flag Retirement. He did walk over and take a look at it, but this is now a traveling exhibit, and I have to thank Terry for the great ideas of how to make my backdrops. So see, Terry, that's what it came out looking like. And people really seem to like and this was in the big showcase they have there, and they had a nice showcase this year. Wouldn't you agree, Carol and Judy?
Yes.
Yeah. And they actually had some free items they gave out. I picked up a baby bib and some other items that they had for raffle items. All right, moving on. On the left, Granby Grange won first place. Now that's not your thing, is it? But you got first prize, Judy, in the it's the wrong picture, but in your garden thing. There it is. Carol's got the ribbon. And and then on the right side are all the honor Granges that were recognized this year. So Granby, Econk, Hillstown, Simsbury, Groton Community, Riverton, Wolcott, Greenfield Hill, and Killingly. And then the Grange in Action honorees, we had 4. We just need 2 more next year, and our state will be a Grange in Action honoree. But Econk Community Junior, Granby, Riverton, and Connecticut were the 4 that were honored this year. So very pleased with that. We also got last year, remember, Todd, our state secretary, got Cultivator of the Year. This year, Connecticut State Grange got Cultivator of the Year for our Leadership Academy initiative that Todd Jody, our state treasurer, put on. And so that was really nice to see, again, Connecticut Grange on the forefront and being recognized for initiatives. And of course, you can't go to Niagara Falls. I took this photo and I just thought it was beautiful there. As I mentioned, our hotel was 2 blocks from the falls. You could just walk across the bridge into Canada as long as you had a passport. So it was a great time. Next year, the convention's in Bettendorf, Iowa, and you'd probably say, where is Bettendorf? But it's right on the Mississippi River. They're hoping to have a steamboat cruise, dinner cruise, and a lot of activities. Drive-wise, it's about 16 hours from Connecticut. But it should be another great convention. This year, there were over 600 attendees, which is very high attendance in the last few years. So they were really pleased with the large turnout for that this year. So I mentioned the contest. My thought is, and when we get to you're all and Joanne, can you mute for a second?
That was kind of strange, but I think that that's pretty.
Joanne, we hear your TV.
There are variables and factors that are involved.
There, thank you, Joanne. So I'm planning on probably rolling my contest over for this year, but if anybody has other ideas or things they would like to do, I again want to meet with Tom Gwynn, see what he has in mind and how he's going to operate. When Ann Bircher was the national lecturer, she had a small subcommittee that I served on. Tom's not sure if he's going to do that or not this year, but I'll keep you posted. So for now, we'll just keep, assuming it's going to be the contest like before and at the state level. So now's a good time to get updates from you all. Any questions, challenges, or anything? We've got a few minutes left. So input. Don't all go quiet on me.
Dave, one question. You just showed honor Granges. What did they do to get honor Grange?
Those are membership. You have to have positive membership growth.
Saying that there is no evidence in this record that you.
And for Grange in Action, you had to meet. You had to do 6 different activities.
But you just don't pay $100 and get a service.
So they get certificates for that activity. And Granby, I think they listed you at plus 30 members I saw on the list. Let me just find the list quickly in my book. Let's see, where are honor Granges? Connecticut. Granby plus 30, Econ Community plus 13, Hillstown plus 9, Simsbury plus 3, Groton Community plus 2, Riverton plus 2, Wolcott plus 2, Greenfield Hill plus 1, and Killingly plus 1. So that's how they selected.
That's over the course of 1 year, Dave?
Yeah, Grange year is January 1st to December 31st is how they do it.
Because Greenfield Hill is, I can't even count the number of members, at least 12 or 15. I'm just curious.
New members that you added?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this says that, did you lose any?
Not that I can think of offhand.
Yeah, and supposedly these came off of the state membership reports, because I didn't, as Joanne is asking, I didn't get what is this compared to Grange in Action. I didn't get it. And so Amanda Brazana Rios, who is the membership director, said that's how they did it. And they pulled these off the state secretary's reports. Because overall, the reason Connecticut didn't get honor Grange, we actually had a slight reduction overall, even though we added new members. we lost members through either death or moves or that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I may, I know with ours, I don't know if this is the case, but they were at the awards for the state session, they were counting new members for the first and second quarters. In other words, January through June. So I don't know if that answers her question. I think, I don't know if that's where they got the numbers from, but it could be.
Yeah, so
Maybe
for this program, Amanda took the 4 quarterly reports.
Oh, okay. Even
And
better.
that's how she does it, because she, and some point, Rob gets every state's report, and I have that also being a fellow. And Connecticut had a slight reduction. Overall, Grange for the second, National Grange for the second year in a row had positive membership growth. We were up 312 members overall. And that's with our new Grange in Hawaii. We're launching other new Granges. Oh, one other just piece of information that I found interesting. We have, I think, at least 4 states that don't have state Granges, but have Granges. So those states have now been assigned to work through another state Grange. So an example is Nevada is assigned to California. Hawaii is assigned to, I think, Oregon. Alaska is assigned to Washington, and Florida is assigned, I think, to one of the Carolinas. So anyways, it was just interesting to me how they, handle all that. But very positive convention and great. And I know Carol's participating. Riverton Grange has Christmas in Riverton coming up on December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And Elf Carol is participating in that. And so we're looking forward to that activity. And I know for Riverton Grange, since Judy's not mentioning stuff, we have our Veteran Appreciation Dinner coming up this Saturday night. It's free to any veteran in their immediate family. So if somebody wants to come up to beautiful Barkhamsted this Saturday at 5, let us know, and we'll treat you to a nice home-cooked ham dinner, since you're all going to be sick of turkey. And then on Sunday, we're having our 6th biannual flag retirement, and we have over 2,000 flags to retire. So you cannot believe what a service that is needed. One of the things I had mentioned to other folks at National Grange, we had done a few years ago in Riverton Grange, a community needs assessment. What was needed in our community that wasn't being done, so that we weren't stepping on other toes. Veteran of the Month came out from the American Legion and the flag retirement. So sometime, if you'd like me to come and maybe walk your Grange through a community needs assessment, and how to really just go within your local community to find out what isn't being done that's needed. Like we've been doing the dictionary project, and other things. You just don't know. There could be a big need that, whether it's your Board of Selectmen or, your local public safety, you just don't know what might be needed there. For Granby Grange, I want to mention they're getting their handicap ramp installed, which is exciting. They're getting their new bathroom installed with their grant funding. So that is exciting. Riverton Grange, thanks to Judy Doyle, is getting 2 new bathrooms through a grant she just secured through a foundation. And I know Wallingford is still working on their very large grant to restore their Grange Hall. Carol, you had your hand up?
Yeah, actually, not to interrupt, but I stopped at the Grange on the way home today from National, and our toilet is installed. We have pipes coming out of the wall for the sink, and the flooring is all installed. And I took pictures, I'll send them to you. It looks really nice so far.
Excellent.
It's getting better and better.
And again, if your Granges need help on grants, let us know. We're all learning as we're doing, but we've been having some good success stories and we'd love to help you. We've discovered Granby, for example, the town of Granby has this grant. It's called the Holcomb Fund, predominantly for North Granby. We had not taken advantage of it. And so the Grange now, and we've told them this is the first of many years. Judy discovered a fund that is for Barkhamsted, so there's funds that are out there that have funding, in communities. We also took advantage of the COVID American Rescue Plan Act funding. And I think 4 Granges actually got funding, and that's where Wallingford's funds are coming from. That's where Riverton's new front porch came from. So there's funding opportunities out there, and they're not that, I don't want to say difficult, because they are, Judy, because Judy had some real challenges getting our last one approved, but she did, right, Judy? I see you're off mute. Oh, she muted again, but she's been doing a great job going after grants. So anyways, all right, what else?
So wait, I just want to say, if anybody wants any poinsettias, let me know, because the Riverton Grange is going to sell some poinsettias at Christmas in Riverton. So if you want any, let me know beforehand and you can pick them up, or we can get them to you guys. So
thank you, Judy. Other questions? How can we help? What can we do? This was a new initiative too. They sold these shirts with the Grange logo, and they personalized them, and which I thought was great. So they passed those out to people that had ordered them at the national convention. So it was a fundraiser actually for the Shipmates program. So those of you that might get one of the honors next year might get something from, because I purchased some ahead to have on hand.
Yeah.
I had never heard of the Shipmates before. I don't know what that is.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Shipmates is a new National Grange Fellowship program. As I asked people, do you read the patrons chain that comes out usually once a week from National Grange? Do you read that?
I've seen it, yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, they advertised this new fellowship program, and it said it's focused on leadership, membership, and keep hearing the ships, and fellowship. So ship. So they call it the Shipmates program. They're now saying it's a 2-year program. They never told us that when we got into it. They funded our way to National Grange for 9 days. I had already paid, so I brought my mom in my place, and we basically worked the National Grange convention. So every day you got really, I thought, interesting projects to work on, like the birthday club thing I talked about, the showcase, the Grow Club, the showcase, whatever the need happened to be. So this year there were 6 Shipmates, 1 for each region. I originally got selected for the Northeast region, and then the 5 of us competed for the National Fellow, and I was selected for that to focus just on membership. So the runner-up for the Northeast, who is Kelly Riley from Rhode Island, took my Northeast slot. Her function now is to work, and I've already asked her to help on the Northeast Lecturer Conference. But her function is really to help pull our region together, and that's what each of them is. And so it's kind of like, I would call it unpaid support to help National Grange staff, in this case on leadership, membership, and fellowship. There's also a 10-year-old program that we're hoping Judy Doyle applies for next year, which is the Communications Fellow program. And they go to National Grange Convention and they do like the daily newsletter. They do all the sessions online and things like that. And we know sometime Terry Fazio is going to be in one of these programs, and I'm sure many of you are going to be in. Don't shake your head, no.
Yeah,
But
Phil said to me before I left, "Oh, I need to talk to you."
Yeah, so they're really. I found it just fascinating because it's kind of like getting behind the scenes and learning a lot, if that's your thing. But I like to understand kind of like how things operate. And so, and because I was the national fellow, I was assigned to 36 people that I had to talk to while I was there. So it was all the national officers, the new national officers, their spouses. So it just, and they did a survey before the convention that I got all the results from, so I would know something about them before we talked. My project has been narrowed down. Just to throw out a question, does anybody on this call, and Terry, you might not be able to qualify, or to answer, but does anybody know how many membership categories National Grange has? Shout it out, a number. Like 1, 2, 3.
5.
No.
Thank you, Judy. Anybody
There's-
else?
There's associate, affiliate, family. That's all I can think of.
There's 17 categories of membership. They have assigned 2 to me to work on for the next 2 years. One is e-membership. Did you know we had e-membership?
Yeah.
I have a whole thing I put out about e-membership a few years ago.
So let me ask
brochures
Karen,
and everything.
Yeah,
So-
let me ask Karen then. Karen, you tell me quickly, what do you think e-membership is?
I remember when that first came out, there's a way that they could become an online member, meaning they weren't expected to attend meetings, but they were able to receive Grange benefits and perks. It was a big initiative a few years ago. It never seemed to go anywhere.
It came out 15 years ago, hard to believe, 15 years ago. There are 68 of them, and all they have are their names and emails. So we don't even know where they live, what state Grange they should be. So they're only connected to National Grange. So I'm working on that, trying to figure out how to make that program more beneficial for all Grangers and for those Grangers. The other one is the associate membership program. And this is an initiative that allows you to belong to a Grange, not as a fraternal member, but you can serve on committees. You can do anything you want. You just can't be a voting member or hold office in that Grange. So if one of you want to invite me to be an associate member and blow the state leaders' minds, because I'm already a member of 3 Granges. So let me know. Nancy, you had your hand up politely.
Yes, I do. I have a question.
Yes.
You talked about senior surgery.
Yes.
Thing. There is a member in my Grange that will be having surgery. What can we do about that?
So let's see here. There is a website. I'm just looking, Terry, did we send that website out or not to people?
No, because I didn't know if it was completely finished to go out yet.
Yep, it's been launched. This was a deliverable launching this at National Convention. So it's gone live. And but maybe at least for Nancy, Terry, can you there's a website at a minimum, Nancy, that has all the categories, it has videos, it has access to all the literature pamphlets. One of the pamphlets, if you print off your computer, it has space where people can write in their own questions. It has some suggested questions. I thought it's really some good documents. And
it's seniorsurgeryguides.com. So
Okay.
it's senior singular surgery guides plural.com.
Okay.
Perfect. So that's a start, Nancy, right there with that person. And again, what one of the I think Karen was talking about it. You know, every town in Connecticut is supposed to have a durable medical equipment closet. Most people don't know it. They're not supposed to have geographic boundaries. So, like, I run Barkhamsted's, and we loan stuff to people all over the region here that need, you know, walkers and wheelchairs and canes and potty seats and, you know, bathroom shower stuff. And every town is supposed to have one. I know Granby has a big one, and they've actually given us, they've had so much in their closet, they've donated it to Barkhamsted. And but a lot of people don't think after they have surgery they might need assistance for long term, and a lot of seniors are on fixed incomes and they can't afford this stuff. Well, this stuff's available out there. We have rollators and, you know, just, you know, mobility stuff to help them get around. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Dave, you mentioned the lectures conference. One of the things I found that wasn't great is each state lecture put on a big program, an hour with all kinds of people. Now the Granges, I would say the average attendance is maybe 15. You're not able to put on these big productions like they were doing. The lectures conference needs to take and give ideas that we can use in the Grange, not go grand, you know, big grand programs.
Joanne, that's great, because I know, for example, I know Bob's a great lecturer, but I know Judy Doyle has done some really, what I would consider, short snippets that are entertaining, informative, but they don't necessarily match up to the old way where you'd have a poem and a song and all the things that you did. Judy's come up with kind of, I would call it, a new way of doing a lectures format, because one of the things we've been struggling with in our Grange as we all age, we have a 99-year-old, a 93-year-old, a 91-year-old. They want to get out of there by 8:30. And we do have a Zoom option, a hybrid option now. We usually get 4 to 6 people on Zoom, which surprises us. And we've been averaging 15 to 20 at Riverton now because of doing hybrid, but we're going Zoom for the next 3 months. We're shutting our hall down after Christmas in Riverton to try to save some money. But maybe one of the things we could do is Judy and some other lecturers could do a program on. I'm laughing at Ramona. What are you making, Ramona? I can see that. We can see it on the screen. Anyways,
you can, I can't.
And Terry's smiling. So anyways, you know, maybe we could have a seminar on some new ways of doing some programs that work, because but one of the things is maybe we could do some of the other older types of programming at either our Pomonas or regional, because the Pomona report, how to strengthen our Pomonas, is coming out, and really how to give them more impact. So, but maybe, you know, when multiple Granges get together. Yes, Bob.
Yeah, just a few points. Now, the first point I'm going to make is that you know we do have on the State Grange website, that in the download area, all of the past newsletters that Marge Bernhardt had put out for I don't know how many years, at least 10 years worth. And there's a lot of ideas in there from people who have submitted their programs to the state lecturer, and they've also included any type of unique skits or programs or ideas, and those were submitted to the newsletter and put out every quarter.
Excellent. So another great resource. All right, Nancy, who's joining us from Florida?
My other half,
Hi there.
George. Oh, he's gatekeeper.
Excellent. Excellent.
He's
All right, we'll
guarding the
count him in
door.
this. We'll count him in this call. All right, we've gone a little bit over, but I think it's been great information sharing tonight. Anything else anybody has, I'll let you know. We'll do the next one of these after the new year, after I've talked to Tom and our new national lecturer. Okay.
I just
Okay.
want to tell Dave and Carol I just got in my driveway.
Good job, Judy.
Yay.
And I know,
10
on
hours.
behalf of our state president, Rob, it was, a great national convention. I think that, really working on our subordinate and Pomona Granges, we can continue to make great improvements with Connecticut State Grange. So thank you all for all you do. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Dave.
Thank
You're
you,
really
Dave.
incredible representing us. Thank you, Dave, for all that you